Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 20, verse number 6. Please repeat after me. Taditavantaha Mahameghaha Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Hi Asya Mumucha Karunaha Eva Tadidavanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchuhu Karunaiva Tadidavanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchuhu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuchu Karunaiva. Mataji's please. Taditvanto Mahameghas Chanda Shvasana Vepitaha Prinanam Jivanam Yasya Mumuch Karunaiva Taditavantaha displaying lightning Mahameghaha the great clouds Chanda fierce Shvasana by the wind Vepitaha shaken Prinanam the gratification Jivanam their life, their water. He Indeed, asya of this world, mumuchuhu, they released, karunaha, merciful personalities, eva, just as. Translation and purport given by the humble disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: flashing with lightning, great clouds were shaken and swept about by fierce winds. Just like merciful persons, the clouds gave their lives for the pleasure of this world. Purport: just as great, compassionate personalities sometimes give their lives or wealth for the happiness of society, the rain clouds pour down their rain upon the parched earth. Although the clouds were thus dissipated, they freely provided rainfall for the happiness of the earth. In Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada comments as follows on this verse. During the rainy season, there are strong winds blustering all over the country and carrying clouds from one place to another to distribute water. When water is urgently needed after the summer season, the clouds are just like a rich man who in times of need distributes his money even by exhausting his whole treasury. So the clouds exhaust themselves by distributing water all over the surface of the globe. When Maharaj Dashrath, the father of Lord Ramachandra, used to fight with his enemies, it was said that he approached them just like a farmer uprooting unnecessary plants and trees. And when there was need of giving charity, he used to distribute money exactly as the cloud distributes rain. The distribution of rain by clouds is so sumptuous that it is compared to the distribution of wealth by a great munificent person. The clouds' downpour is so sufficient that the rains even fall on rocks and hills and on the oceans and seas where there is no need for water. It is like a charitable person who opens his treasury for distribution and who does not discriminate whether the charity is needed or not. He gives in charity open-handedly. Metaphorically speaking, the lightning in rain clouds is the light by which they see the distressed condition of the earth, and the blowing winds are their heavy breathing, such as that found in a distressed person. Distressed to see the condition of the earth, the clouds tremble in the wind like a compassionate person. Thus they pour down their rain. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasha Swamin iti namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one more time the verse and the translation. Tadidvanto mahameghas chanda shvasanave pitaha prinanam jivanam yasya mumuchuhu karunaiva. Flashing with lightning, great clouds were shaken and swept by fierce winds. Just like merciful persons, the clouds gave their lives for the pleasure of this world. Hare Krishna. So the title of this chapter is The Rainy Season and Autumn in Vrindavan. So needless to say that Shukdev Goswami is describing the beautiful nature of Vrindavan to Parikshit Maharaj. However, he is also taking an opportunity to instruct Parikshit Maharaj about the miserable condition of a living entity, the nature of this material existence, the supremacy of the Lord, and the relationship amongst them. And this is one of the best quality of a Vaishnava or Acharya. We can see that they always take an opportunity to preach Krishna consciousness, to instruct others about the condition of the living entity, who the Supreme is, what this material nature all about is, what is this time all about, and what kind of activities a living entity should perform so that he can go closer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here in this verse, we can see that a word is mentioned called Mahameghas. Mahameghas means great clouds. Actually, this is a metaphor where it is mentioned that the great clouds, they are in the sky, and these great clouds are getting shaken or getting trembled. Why they are getting trembled and shaken? Because of the wind. Because of the wind blowing. And why the wind is blowing? Because of the heavy breathing of the earth. So we can see why the earth is heavily breathing, because she is in a distressed condition because of the scorching heat coming from the sun. So this particular analogy has been mentioned to describe the miserable condition of a living entity. Living entity is in a miserable condition in this material world, which has been represented by the earth here. And when he is in distressed condition, he is in miserable condition, he doesn't know what to do, what not to do, and he is heavily been attacked by this Adibhautika, Adidaivika, Adhyatmika Klesha, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. He, because of his heavy breathing, the winds are blowing, and because of that wind, the clouds are shaking and trembling. So here, the shaking and trembling are represented as Shwasanam and Vepitaha, Chanda Shwasana and Vepitaha. So why the clouds are shaking and breathing? Because they are so compassionate. They are not able to see the distressed condition of a living entity. And how do they see that? It has been mentioned that lightning of the sky. The lightning of the sky is represented here as the eyes of these clouds. Due to this light, clouds can see the distressed condition of the earth. So similarly, the compassionate acharyas, compassionate souls, compassionate spiritual master can see the distressed condition of this living entity through the lightning, through the eyes of Shastra, we can say. And when they see this particular condition, they just pour down the knowledge of the absolute truth. They pour down the knowledge of the absolute truth without any discrimination. They do not discriminate whether this particular person is eligible or not eligible. They just see the condition of a living entity, and then they give them the beauty of Krishna consciousness. And that's what the highest quality of a Vaishnava is. Highest quality of Acharya is, and highest quality of a spiritual master is. In this particular chapter or a verse, we can see, as we have heard yesterday, that Srila Prabhupada was invited in Japan for one of the function or one of the spiritual event. And that time, as he knew that these people are Oriental people, that means actually Oriental people is outdated word at this moment as per the modern dictionary, because in 2016 it has been removed from the dictionary, saying that it's an offensive word, and that's the reason it has been removed, and it has been used for calling this Eastern Asian people, like Chinese, Japanese, North Korean, South Korean people. They were called as Oriental people. So when in 1961 Prabhupada was invited for this particular event, he thought that these people are worshippers of nature. So I have to represent Bhagavatam in such a way that they can relate the nature with Bhagavatam, and then we can preach Krishna consciousness to them. And that's how Srila Prabhupada came up with 48 commentaries on this of this chapter. And first commentary, he takes up the similar analogy, but then he gives altogether a different angle. In that, Prabhupada says that the sky is, a serene sky is represented as absolute truth. And being a part and parcel of the absolute truth, the small portion of that serene sky is a living entity. And then this living entity is covered by the bluish cloud, which is nothing but the ignorance. And due to this ignorance, this particular living entity is considering himself separate from the absolute truth. And in a desiring to enjoy or to want to master on this material world, he is thundering, making sound, saying that I am this, I am that, this is mine, this is ours, I am the master of everything. And the lightning of the sky, the light of the sky is the only hope. The hope which can lead to the path of knowledge. And this path of knowledge can bring this particular living entity which is covered by this bluish cloud of ignorance and making a sound in a mode of passion that I am this, I am that, can be removed with the path of knowledge called lightning. This is what Prabhupada has given a commentary on that particular, kind of the same, the first commentary of this chapter. And he is also letting everyone know that even though that living entity is one with the Supreme, for example, the serene sky is a pure and the living entity is also pure, that means it is one with the absolute truth. However, it is different from the absolute truth. And there then he defines two classes of philosophers. One is that Dvaita and other one is Advaita. And then he establishes the highest philosophy of Achintya Bhedabhed in that particular verse. So this is what the highest quality of a Acharya, that he is always compassionate. He cannot see the miserable condition of a living entity. If we see how the living entity spends his life, that when he takes up the birth, first 20-25 years of his life he spent in playing with his friends and in the pursuit of academic success. After that, from nowhere, he becomes attracted to a opposite gender and calls herself as a wife. And then he multiplies his possessions in the form of children, in the form of money, in the form of position, in the form of respect. And he kind of convinced himself that he is the one who is making everything possible for him and his family, and there is no God. There is no upper hand of nature or the Supreme who is controlling or allowing that particular living entity to live in that particular position. Till the time he is young, he thinks that he is the master of everything, and then the old age comes, and then slowly he starts realizing that even though his mind wants to enjoy many things, his body is not supporting. And as his body is not supporting, he starts lamenting on the body that, oh, I want to enjoy this, but then I am not able to see, I am not able to hear, I am not able to walk. And this is the time when one can really try to understand why this is happening to me. I never aspired for this. I always aspired for happiness in my life. I always aspired for good conditioning, good comfort of my life. And that's what I did. I have worked so hard right from the beginning. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells in his song of Prabhu Hai Suno Mora Dukhera Kahini. That he says that in childhood I played with my friends. In young age, I studied so well, so intensely to achieve the success, and then I have earned money, I have earned position, I have been to the places, I have kind of come to a successful life, and now I'm getting old and I don't know what to do, because this is the time when one understands that he has to leave all this possession and he has to move on to the next life. And if person is really sane, then he tries to look for the path of knowledge where he can understand the real position or constitutional position of a living entity. In this regard, recently there is a book published called The Mood and Mission of Srila Prabhupada, and in that His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj talks about what is the compassion. How the spiritual master or Acharya, being compassionate, showers mercy on the living entities. He says that a sadhu's concern is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country, from door to door, preaching, be Krishna conscious, be devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. These are the preaching of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality toward all the fallen souls. So as mentioned in this verse, that karuna, the compassion, this is what the real compassion of a sadhu is. And that's what Srila Prabhupada has done when he appeared in this material world. Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj says that Srila Prabhupada is compassion personified. For he dedicated his every breath to spreading Krishna consciousness, resting only a few hours every night to keep body and soul together. Indeed, he expressed compassion in all his activities. Out of compassion, he left his peaceful life in Vrindavan and came to America. Out of compassion, he wrote his books, battled the atheists and Mayavadis, and reprimanded his disciples. Out of compassion, he tolerated no interference in the flow of Krishna's mercy to the living entities. Because of his extraordinary compassion, Krishna consciousness has taken hold in the West and throughout the world. So this is what the real spiritual master or the real Acharya is. That he is compassionate. He never sees or discriminates that who the living entity is. He gives the real Krishna consciousness to him. And there are many more acharyas we see in our Vaishnava culture. We all know that famous example of Ramanujacharya, that his spiritual master warned him that this Mahamantra is a confidential mantra and you should not disclose to others. If you disclose to others, you will go to hell. But then what Ramanujacharya did? He went on top of the building and he shouted. He screamed that this is the mantra by which you can go back home, back to Godhead. Similarly, we can see Srila Prabhupada. So many challenges he had to face in his life. And he said that this Krishna consciousness movement is for living entities. He did not say that this Krishna consciousness movement is for only human beings. And we can see this, that he is following this by his actions. In the memories of Srila Prabhupada, we can hear from his disciples that Srila Prabhupada is saying that this Krishna consciousness movement is for living entities. One of the best example or the memory which I was hearing was of Naranaran Rishi Prabhu. He was saying that once he was with Prabhupada and then Prabhupada asked him, "Do you see this ant on the table?" And then he couldn't see anything. But then, as Srila Prabhupada saying that he's asking him that whether you see an ant on the table, that means there must be an ant, and I am not able to see. So now he did not know what to say. Yes, I am able to see, or I am not able to see. So he just did means he did not neither said yes, no. And Prabhupada said that I should understand what is my duty to help this ant. So one might say that what is one's duty to help an ant? But metaphorically, Prabhupada is saying that please understand the purpose of Krishna consciousness. Please understand the purpose of this particular movement. That it's not just for the human being, but it is for the all living entities. When you chant the holy name of the Lord, when this sound vibration comes out from your tongue or from your mouth, it is helping each and every living entity of this material world. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, we see that he has widely, mercifully inaugurated this chanting of holy name. And when he was chanting these holy names, not just human beings, but we have seen that so many animals also got liberated from this material world. Another incident of Srila Prabhupada, it is really amazing when we hear Srila Prabhupada memories, that there was a devotee called Ganesh Prabhu, and he was with Srila Prabhupada in his room, and one psychological student has entered the room, and he was wearing glasses and he was looking down. They couldn't understand whether he is looking down or he is looking at Prabhupada. But then he was not saying anything, he was just keeping quiet. And Srila Prabhupada just showed his hand to one of his disciples. So disciple said that, do you have any questions for Srila Prabhupada? I mean, if you have any questions, you can ask. And then that person was not opening his mouth. He was just looking down. And no one could understand that what to do in this particular situation because everywhere was a silence. Then Srila Prabhupada started quoting a verse called that verse of that elements, what is that verse? Bhumi Rapo Nala Vayu, that verse he started quoting. And then he was talking about the different elements of this material world, and then he started describing about mind, intelligence and false ego. And while describing about mind, intelligence and false ego, he started talking about ghosts. He started talking about ghosts, saying that ghost does not have any body, and when the soul does not get any body, then he tries to get into another body, and then that is a miserable condition. And he just started talking about ghost. And then Shrudikariti Prabhu was on the left side of Srila Prabhupada. He asked Prabhupada, why are you talking about ghosts? And Prabhupada just ignored him. Prabhupada ignored him, saying that, and then continued talking about this ghost, how they influence the body, and one should really be careful, and they should how they should take up to Krishna consciousness. So later they realized that that particular boy actually was attacked by the ghost, and that's the reason he is not in a condition where he can be normal with other people. So this is what the Prabhupada mercy is. When he saw the living entities, saw the people, he understood their problem, understood what kind of miserable condition they are in. In one case, Atma Tattva Prabhu narrates this incident where one person came to Srila Prabhupada and he said that I am a big businessman. I have this factory, I have that factory, I have so much wealth, but then I cannot sleep, Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada spontaneously prayed, but that's the reason you cannot sleep. You give up some of your money to Krishna consciousness, then you can sleep. And then he told one of his disciples, take his address. And then that businessman is saying, no need to give an address. I can come anytime. Then Prabhupada said, oh, you can come anytime, but then we should also be able to come anytime to your office. No. So give your address. We will relieve you from all your problems. Don't worry. So this is what the Prabhupada mercy is, that he understands that what kind of problem that particular person is going through. And then he is always ready to help him. That is what the benefit this spiritual master or acharya showers onto the living entity. In a Shastra, actually living entity is so miserable that analogically it has been mentioned that the metaphor, as we are talking about all these metaphors in this chapter, the metaphor is given for a living entity that there is a one tree, and then this tree is shaken by an elephant, and in one of the branch of this tree, the living entity is holding the branch. And at the end of the branch, there are two rats. One is a black rat and one is a white rat who are eating up that branch. And above this living entity who is holding on to the branch, above that there is one more branch. And that branch has a honeycomb. And from that, slowly, the honey is dripping, and that particular person who is holding the branch is opening his mouth like this and trying to relish the drop which is coming from that honeycomb. Relish the honey. And so many honeys are around him who are biting him. And down there is a river, and many snakes, poisonous snakes, are waiting for him. When this particular person falls on this particular river, then they will bite him. And Vishnu with Garuda, he is standing in a distance thinking that when this living entity would turn his face and look at me. So if we see this particular tree which is being shaken by elephant, that elephant represents the karma which he is carrying, which the person is carrying with him. This branch is considered as his present life. The snakes which are in the river are considered as future life. And that honeycomb is considered as his material existence, Maya, or the different desires that particular person is having to fulfill through that particular honeycomb. And white rat and black rat represents day and night who are eating up his life. And Krishna, who is mercifully waiting there for him to turn around so that he can help him. And in between Krishna and this particular person, there is a person who is called spiritual master, who is kind of preaching him again and again that you are in a miserable condition, even though you don't understand that you are spoiling your life. You are going through cycle of birth and death, janma mrityu jara vyadhi. You are thinking that this is what you want, but this is available in each and every species of life. So why not turn your head towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take you from this particular condition and place in a condition where you can enjoy with him eternally. This is what the condition of material nature is. This is what the condition of living entities. This is what the existence one is in. And spiritual master, as here mentioned, he is showing karuna. He is showing compassion like this cloud who is trembling, who is shaken up and pouring the rainfall on the earth, which has been in a distressed condition by the scorching heat. one should really understand this pitiable condition. We all have gone through this particular situation, and as we have slightly received this knowledge, we should share this knowledge to other people, thinking that he is also going through the same condition and he is not going to be happy in this material world. Whatever extent he tries to be happy in this material world, he is not going to be. Even though he is not ready to listen, as here in this purport mentioned, that when rain comes, it does not discriminate whether it is falling on a rock, it is falling on a fertilized land, or it is falling on a sea. So that is what the quality of a devotee is. That devotee never sees that the person who is in front of me, whether he is in a position to listen or not. Actually, it has been mentioned that we should not preach to a faithless person. But devotee goes beyond that. He says that, okay, let me just give a try. Let me just give him a book. By saying that, okay, read this book. This is the manual of life. This can change your life. What you are thinking is happiness is not a real happiness. The real happiness is in serving Krishna. The real happiness is in chanting the holy name of the Lord. The real happiness is in self-realization. This is what devotees go one step ahead. And that is what the real essence of this verse is, that compassion means that is what the real compassion is. Once, Srila Prabhupada narrates this particular incident that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was really crying. And he was telling his disciple that I couldn't save one of my disciple. He says that, which disciple you are talking about? So he said that I had one disciple, he was a sannyasi, but his wife dragged him back to the householder's life, that samsara dava, and I couldn't save him. That is what the real compassion of a spiritual master is. Srila Prabhupada, he also showed the same compassion. He showed the same compassion when he was in this world, and he showed the same compassion through his books, through his lectures, through his morning walks, through his conversations. That's the reason that famous incident happened when the Christian priest, he met Srila Prabhupada and he was asking that what is wrong in meat eating? And Srila Prabhupada was saying that, do you kill your children? He said, but logically speaking, he was giving a mundane logic, saying that I need food. So there is nothing wrong if I kill plant and if I kill goat, or if I kill animal. So Prabhupada said, yes, I understood that jivo jivasya jivanam. Yes, we need food. But there must be a difference between killing a plant and killing an animal. If you are in need of food, will you kill your brother, sister? Will you kill your kids? Then why you have to kill animals? Why you are so merciless? Krishna has given you food to eat. That Supreme Person has already told you what to eat, what not to eat. And Krishna consciousness is one step ahead. We know that even those plants, when we take out, we are performing sins. So what we do, that we offer it to the Lord, saying that, please accept this offering and allow us this to eat as a prasadam. That is what the Krishna consciousness meaning is. That is what the compassion of real Vaishnava is. So that's the reason Prabhupada said that why one should not eat meat. That we should, when we are compassionate towards human being, we should compassionate towards animals also, because they also have soul, and we should be compassionate towards every living entity. And that's the reason Rupa Vilas Prabhu, when he said in his memory that this Krishna consciousness movement is for all living entities, we should make sure that this is not just for human beings, but this is for all living entities. And that is what this verse talks about, that compassion means what. So I'll just take a pause here, and if you have a question or doubts or any comments, you can just let me know. And just to add that, yes, Prabhuji. Rain. Yes. Food. Yeah. Yes. 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 True. It is true. Yes. So yeah, as in Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 14th verse, Annat Bhavanti Bhutani, that particular verse Prabhupada mentions that we require food. From where the food comes, when the rain comes, that time only the earth uh, gives us the cultivation crops. And for having the rain, we should perform yajna. And in Kali Yuga, the best yajna is the Sankirtan yajna, by which we can we can uh, request the the all managers of the Supreme Person to shower mercy on upon us. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. 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 Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. That we are really thieves. We don't appreciate what we are receiving in this material world. Everything we are getting flawlessly. We are getting sunshine. We are getting we are getting rain. We actually have ample of water as well to live this life. But then we don't appreciate the beauty of this nature and the intelligence which has been uh, employed by the Creator, who is known as God, and He is Krishna. When we start appreciating it, we would have much better life than what we have at this moment. Yes, true, it is true. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam.